The term Cold War unfolds a narrative that spans several decades of tension, rivalry, and geopolitical maneuvering between the United States and the Soviet Union, as well as their respective allies. It is a story woven through the fabric of post-World War II international relations, characterized by ideological conflict, nuclear brinkmanship, and the pervasive fear of a global confrontation without direct military engagement. Imagine the divided city of Berlin, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the nuclear arms race, hallmarks of an era where the world was gripped by the ideological struggle between communism and capitalism. This marks the genesis of the Cold War narrative, where the superpowers and their allies engaged in a protracted struggle for influence, dominance, and the allegiance of nations around the globe. As the narrative unfolds, it delves into the ideological foundations of the Cold War, with the contrasting ideologies of communism and capitalism driving a deep wedge between the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc. The story explores the geopolitical chessboard, where proxy wars, espionage, and political maneuvering became the battlegrounds for influence and control. The Cold War narrative encompasses key moments of tension, including the Korean War, the construction of the Berlin Wall, and the Cuban Missile Crisis, where the superpowers teetered on the brink of direct military conflict. It reflects on the strategies of containment, deterrence, and the development of nuclear arsenals that characterized this era of global uncertainty. The human element of the Cold War comes into focus as the narrative examines the experiences of individuals living in this era of ideological confrontation. The story reflects on the impact of McCarthyism, the space race, and the arms race on societies, as well as the personal stories of those who lived under the constant specter of nuclear annihilation. Yet, the Cold War narrative is not without moments of détente and diplomatic initiatives. The story delves into efforts to ease tensions, such as the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks, SALT, and the Helsinki Accords, which aimed at reducing the risk of nuclear conflict and fostering a degree of cooperation between the superpowers. The narrative unfolds to incorporate the collapse of the Soviet Union in the late 20th century, marking the end of the Cold War. The story reflects on the geopolitical shifts, the reunification of Germany, and the subsequent emergence of a unipolar world order dominated by the United States. In the contemporary context, the Cold War narrative takes on new dimensions as geopolitical rivalries resurface and new challenges emerge. The story reflects on the enduring legacy of the Cold War, the lessons learned, and the ongoing efforts to navigate a complex and multipolar global order. In essence, the term Cold War encapsulates a narrative that mirrors an era defined by ideological conflict, strategic maneuvering, and the constant threat of global confrontation. It is a tale of geopolitical tension, nuclear brinkmanship, and the enduring impact of an era that shaped the course of international relations for decades. Whether in the halls of power, the trenches of proxy wars, or the collective psyche of global societies, the Cold War narrative reflects the complexities of navigating a world divided by ideological and geopolitical fault lines.